Hey everybody, I'm Keedren.
I'm Couture, and we are the Bostons. Welcome to
Hey
Talking
everybody,
with
I'm
the
Keedren.
Bostons. Let me tell you, we are excited about what's happening tonight. We got this conversation that we've been gearing up for,
Yes.
and we're just gonna jump right into it. Look, you read the title, you know what it is. What's up
Oh
with
my
these
goodness.
lists?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
What is up with these lists, y'all? Y'all talk to us in the comment. We know you've seen them, and we've seen them, and they're multiplying. It seems like by the day. Some of you have posted in our Talking with the Boston's Facebook group, have shared them with me. Thank you. Shout out to Jennifer and Miss Kim Stout. Thank you for sharing those with me, DMing us and letting us know like there are more circulating. So we've had a good couple of laughs and a couple of shaking our head moments looking at these lists. But we want to get into it for real. So since everyone's talking about it, we're like, you know what? We talk about stuff too. And since we've been talking about this, and this is Talking with the Bostons, we're gonna talk about this.
I don't see why not.
I guess so.
Yeah.
So talk to us. Where should we start?
I don't know. I guess
with the people.
I would say off top. First of all, welcome everyone that's watching from Facebook, everybody watching from YouTube. Thank y'all for tuning in. I would say, what do you think? Like when you first saw this, like what were you thinking? Like,
so when I first saw the list, the first list that I saw circulated was the list of where you don't take women out to eat. And so for some of you who need a little bit of context, the first list was generated after a young lady decided to go live or record herself and repost herself on a date where she was with a gentleman who attempted to take her to a restaurant that was undesirable to her. They arrive at this restaurant. He gets out, walks around the vehicle, goes to her door to pull the handle to escort this young lady out. And she refuses and records him. And she tells the public that she refuses to eat at this establishment. And so he comes back around when he realizes that she's not joking and she's really not going to get out of the vehicle. He gets back in the car, pretty much embarrassed, and she continues to, I think, humiliate him by continuing to describe her discomfort and feeling just disappointed by the establishment that they are presently at. Now, for an additional piece of context, he explains to her that he originally planned I wouldn't say a higher caliber of date, but a different establishment that she agreed would have been more suitable or more to her liking. However, he also shares that her being over an hour late coming down from her apartment and to his vehicle, they missed their reservation. And so apparently she lived a little bit of a distance away. So he has a work day. He took off, goes home, gets ready, picks her up at the time they agreed upon, waits for her over an hour. They miss his original plan and they take another significant amount of time to get to another establishment. And then she refuses to get out of the car. Now, y'all heard the restaurant, Cheesecake Factory. And so that is what's big out there now. But we want to submit to you that this whole thing is so much bigger than the name of the restaurant and more about the behavior. So when I first saw the clip and you and I watched it, I was like, this can't be real. I was like, this has to be a skit.
It had to be.
No one behaves like this, right? And I was like, yes, definitely it was rude. But I just felt embarrassed for the young man.
Definitely secondhand embarrassment.
It was definitely some secondhand embarrassment. I was like, oh my gosh. And to post it for all the world to see and why.
What really got me was, one thing that I do all the time is try to make sure I open doors for y'all, for my girls, for my daughters, for my wife.
Yes. Since forever, 24 years.
For sure. Listen. And so definitely taught my sons to do the same thing. If you see all six of us together, you'll see my sons opening doors for their sisters, me opening the door for their moms, mom. And that's just the way it is. So when I saw that young man go around there and get out the car, walk around to open the door for her, and it was locked, dang, that hit different. Cause I'm just like,
Yes.
first of
'Cause you
all,
could
he's
hear.
being, you can hear him checking on the door, and of course, she's sharing what she's, her perspective and what she wants to accomplish in that time. But it just hit different seeing that young man pulling that door to try to be a gentleman.
Yes.
And her, like not allowing him to do that because of, her mood. Yeah. Yes. And for him, like, are you gonna get out? You're gonna lock the door. Like it was disheartening.
It was a secondhand embarrassment for real. It was like just, to move forward. It was like we felt that moment watching, and we were still like kind of experiencing this moment of disbelief. Like this cannot be real.
Yeah.
And so what we've seen be generated from it is a series of retaliative type lists being recreated.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, come on now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then you had some that were specifically geared for men, saying this is the type of women you don't date or the places that you don't go.
Yeah.
And there was a series of lists. And here's the thing. Most of y'all who have listened to us and follow us, I think lists have their place, but usually in a relationship, I think they're mostly trash. I think a conversation is where you begin, expressing expectations, wants, desires, interests, all of that stuff.
Yeah.
And so, like, we just had someone comment and say, one of our YouTube viewers, Carnisha, thank you so much, sharing that, the lists are kind of triggering in a sense, because it's like, what? What? And more than anything, because it was the behavior around it, because it could have been any restaurant, right? We know that this has brought some attention to a particular restaurant, but when the list was generated, obviously that was the top on the list of places like don't take a woman on a first date. And then they proceed to just list other type of activities, other restaurants and other, I guess activities, sporting outings.
Yeah, I mean, let's
clubs, games, and different things like that. And it was like, come on now.
Since we added, let's just pull up some of them right now.
All right, let's
just do that. Yeah. So
y'all tell us, can y'all
so some of these you can actually see, but of course you can actually, of course we posted them on the in the group as well, but you can see some of these. Of course, got the Cheesecake Factory on there, and even just to be, not to go through the whole list because you can actually see it, but honestly, some of the stuff it is kind of like, okay, like if it's a first date, like I get there should be some intentionality behind what you do and where you go. You know what I mean? When you see stuff like the nightclubs or a hookah bar, you know what I mean?
People do it all the time. Like, okay, obviously, there are some that are just, they don't match our personality types, but it's a pretty long list.
Yeah.
And so if two people are okay with going to a nightclub and that's what they decide upon, because women typically like to know what they're going to wear and be prepared.
Yeah.
If they agree on that, I don't know how that came up with the list. Now, also, to be fair, let's just say two things. Don't focus on the images in the graphic. These have been circulating. So we don't know these people at all for the graphics we're going to show you. But number two, our issue isn't even with the places and activities, but some of them you might reconsider. And like you said, like, would these be places for a first date? But I think it depends on our conversation. Because if I was going on a first date with you, I don't think that I would have cared where you wanted to take me. I was glad to go out with you because we had some great dates, and there were series of dates, and some of them we talked about in advance, and some of them were like out of convenience, like, oh, you know what? They have this place over here. You want to go check it out? Let's go. And so I think depending on different seasons of your life, that also determines where you might like to have a first date. But if it's a first date, I would imagine we're having a conversation too.
Right. Yeah. So that's why I think some of the places aren't necessarily suitable for that. You know what I mean? But of course, if that's what you want to do and that's what you decide, that's one thing. But I think even looking at it from I'm leaving it up to the young man to choose to decide
me.
where, you know what I mean? Yeah, you know, of course you want it to be a place where you can have a conversation and it's not too crazy, not too noisy, not too much pressure. Like some of the, you know, let me take you to meet my family off top, you know, family gatherings, you know. So that's some of the stuff, like I say, we can validate some of the things, you know, that are on the list, you know, for whatever reason. But I think it does come back to the point of if we're courting, if we're talking, if we're interested in each other, then, you know, I would more than likely have had a conversation with you on based on what kind of things you like, you know, where you have eaten or if you're allergic to anything. I mean, I think just having a conversation to kind of gauge.
And I think he did have a conversation because in the video, when he tells her the place that he originally planned, just to go back to that real quick, when she heard the name of the restaurant that he originally planned that she made them late for the appointment for, she was actually very pleased with it. So it tells me that they had enough conversation for him to know her taste, her style, and that he was prepared
to do something nice for her,
right? Even if they prepared to meet her expectation in that way,
right?
But it was her; she blew it. That was rude. First of all, forget where we're going. It's rude to have an expectation that I'm going to make anybody wait for me after they have been so kind as to shorten their day, prepare for me, plan for me, use their vehicle, their gas, and their time to come get me. And I agreed to do this and then have the audacity to expect you to wait with joy. And then when you realize that you don't necessarily appreciate where we're going, for you to not have a conversation with me, but for you to try to play me.
Because he did say that. He was like, we can talk about it. We can
compromise.
He even tell her, we can talk about it with your friends. You know what I mean? Like, we can talk about, you're online right now, or, you know, you're recording, we can have a conversation about it. So you're right. It is. I think he was being very reasonable, very gracious, you know, throughout the whole thing, you know. Like Carnisha said, I mean, he did wait, you know, a whole hour.
That's a long time.
And he was very intentional about that. And so I don't know, just being considerate, I think, period, is important. Like, don't be inconsiderate and then have these high expectations at the beginning of our relationship. And you're already showing inconsideration and lack of care, you know, for me, you know, or my time, you know, which is my life.
And just me as a person, because it would have been wrong for her to do that privately.
Oh, yeah.
But her goal was to publicly stand her ground at the expense of humiliating another person. And part of why, when we had this conversation, we said we want to talk about this because we don't always jump on the trend wagon at all. We have enough to talk about. We're not looking for content. Let's be clear. But, you know, for the young people in our life, we're raising 2 young adults and they share the same internet that we share. They in the same streets, highways and byways that we are on, and they have seen this. And we don't want them to be subconsciously influenced that this idea is okay. And when we've had conversations with both Aaron, who is 24, and our daughter Symphony, who is 21, oddly, being generations apart, we all had the same consensus. You don't treat people that way. And there are better ways to do everything. So just because you can record and put things like this on social media, like, should you? So even to get away from that, because our point is certainly not to drag these people or make one seem like the hero and one seem like the villain. I think we've all kind of determined based on what we saw, and even a follow-up, you know, interview that they had, you know, on some other platforms, that we are very clear. What we saw is what we saw. So none of this is, you know, we're not making presumptions by any means. We're assessing, but we do want to help people. Like, we're trying to help ourselves and our young adults kind of navigate this, because one of the things that came up in our conversations with them that we're always very cognizant of is that we're in different phases of our lives. And so we started to think, we don't know how old, you know, these young people are, or these people are who are building these lists, because there's a couple of them out there now. But if we look at our kids who are in their 20s and us in our 40s, we have different.
40, you just turned 40.
I said 40. I said in our 40.
We there now.
I said in our 40. You know, we are in, we have a different perspective.
Yeah.
Because personally, my husband has taken me to restaurants where we could both order and have ordered, you know, $100 steaks, and they were delightful. But there was a season where we had $20 steaks too, and cooked right. I enjoyed that meal as well, and I enjoyed my time with him. But those were different seasons, and there are still places on that list that I would still go to this day. I don't know about y'all.
Yeah.
How many of y'all saw this list and were like, okay, even if you don't love, this ain't about the restaurant.
Yeah.
But like, how many of you saw places that you're like, now wait a minute, I would definitely go to a Dallas Cowboy game. What are you talking about? No sporting events.
Yeah.
I would definitely go there. But if it's not our thing, you know, then it's not our thing. And we have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
So,
but that's something that, like you said, you have a conversation beforehand, and where you're knowing that this is something that he or she might be interested in. So we're gonna
accommodate each other and compromise.
Yeah. You told me that you love sports. You know, we met
I said me too.
You know, yeah.
You said you love this team. Yeah. I said me too. You said, well, they're playing in a month. You want me to grab tickets? Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So it really depends on you. And I think that video sparked this whole wave of lists, but people have been making lists for a very long time.
Yeah. Different types, right?
I remember making lists, you know, as a young person, because I heard older women say, you know, be specific and write down your list and all of those things. And you know, my husband exceeded my list. He's everything I wanted, didn't know how to ask for, couldn't have put into words his, you know, nothing about his character or complexion or height or profession have had any bearing. Well, his character has had some bearing, but on how I have felt about him and how he's treated me and how he's loved me and why we've had a 24-year relationship. It has been his character. So I just want to fit that out here too.
No, it's the same. It's the same for you. You know what I mean? You know. And it's okay to write down your vision
and make it plain,
not make it petty. You know what I mean?
Make it plain. Okay. Make it plain. Don't make it
petty. Like, I think that, like, come on now, you know.
Dang it.
If we,
that was good. I dare somebody. Hold on.
Yeah, go ahead and tweet that. Make it list. Make it plain, but don't make it petty, you know.
Make it plain, but don't keep talking.
But to think about that, like, you know, sometimes people like what they like. They're interested in what they're interested in. And I think that that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. When you find commonalities, you want to be able to do things with the people that you're interested in, that you can enjoy. You want to go places where you're going to enjoy the time. Right. Eating, if you're hanging out, if you're, you know, on an adventure, it should be something that
is mutually.
You both won't want to do. That's why I think it's important. Hey, before we go out, you know, I want to kind of get some intel on what you like to do, what you like to eat, and just level up your, you know, question game. You know what I'm saying? Right. Asking about how, you know, level up your question. Yeah, I mean, that's how we learn about each other. We ask questions, you know.
Right.
And so this just kind of took me back to, you know, high school when we were dating, and we had an opportunity, and I had an opportunity, you know, to think about a date, about, you know, for where we could go, where I could take you, you know what I mean? And there's levels to this too. Like, and when I think about this list, like, depending on where a man is, you know, not even going to the ladies list yet, you know, but thinking about where a man is in his life, you know, he may not be able to have, you know, he may not be able to take you to a certain restaurant or whatnot, you know.
But is he a good person?
Right. It's back to that character thing. And then if it's something that you're interested in, people can always make more money, man. Like you can always level up your finances. You know what I'm saying? And your resources. There's so much, you know, character right there, and mindset are not guaranteed to be gold, like are not guaranteed to be
changed even
good. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? People can, you know, they're already gonna put on this front for you. So yeah, let me take you out to a nice dinner where I may spend $200 on a meal, but tomorrow or the day after, I'm doing the same thing for another young lady. So now you're caught up in everything that I've done for you, bragging to your friends. And you know what I'm saying, Kara, he took me here, this and this and that, but I'm doing the same thing for other ladies or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Not deep, but I'm just saying, like, it's so important. Character is key. But back to how I started, just saying, like, you never know where a person is. And so if you meet them and you're interested in them, but it took me back to me thinking about where I wanted to take you. First of all, I wanted you to have a good time. You know what I mean? And of course, we have been talking and getting to know each other. So I kind of had an idea of what would be cool. I knew you like Chinese food. You know, I knew, of course, the zoo in San Antonio is nothing like the Brooklyn Zoo, you know what I'm saying, or the Bronx Zoo. But still,
and we
went
you know
to
both in 2 different seasons of our life.
For sure. But it's still, I knew what you liked. And so let me find something. Let me find a decent Chinese food restaurant where she could enjoy herself.
And I
didn't really even like, I didn't really know a lot about Chinese food. I knew about fried rice and egg rolls. And that's it. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's what we had. And we had like chicken fried rice, pork fried rice, egg rolls. And I think I got an egg drop soup. That was like extra. And it didn't come with the meal. It was extra. And we had the best time, but we sat across from each other. You know,
but I wasn't
17 and 18 years old. And had a conversation.
Right.
And talked about where we were going next. You know, and we ended up getting on a city bus. That was a San Antonio city bus. He had a bus pass. He paid for my fare and got me a transfer because we were gonna have to turn around and come back to the, to the campus later on that day. And we went to the zoo. He paid for both of us to get in the zoo. We got something to drink. We weren't hungry because we ate, but we just had a good time. And so the point is, I mean, yes, it took money to do that, but it would have been the same if we would have been like, you know what, let's hang out after school. Let's go buy some popcorn from this stand and like hang out at the park before you have to catch your bus and go home. And what it boils down to, it was never about the place. It was really about that behavior, that mindset. And it made men mentally want to retaliate in that way. And the truth is, most women don't actually feel that way. Like, that was not a representation of all women. And if I want to get real specific, it wasn't a proper representation of all Black women either. Because that was a big thing on social media too. Now,
I don't want to go there yet.
But
go ahead. But
I'm secure enough to know that was not a representation. She was not speaking on behalf of all of us. But I'm sure there are other women that men have encountered that they felt like she represented their experience very well. And it was very triggering for them also. So absolutely, there are some of us, I'm like, we need to lend our voice to this because I'm speaking on behalf of the women who are reasonable and understand that there's a right and a wrong way to manage these kinds of situations. And it's also the heart of most women to not be rude or ill-mannered towards any gentleman, especially one who is being so polite and gracious. You know, like most women don't have that heart. That's not who we are by nature. That's not our thing. That's not the goal. Especially if we said yes to the date. So, yes, I don't want to get too ahead, but
no, you're good.
I just, stay tuned because there's more lists and we're going to hit it. But
because we got people like they're tapping in the chat. So
some of y'all agree. They're like, yes, correct. That woman does not speak for all of us.
I want to pull some of this up. But I also want to say too, like, like I said, looking at that young man, like, brothers know when a dude is a good dude, ladies. You know what I'm saying? Like, we know when a dude is a good dude, for real. And so, and then we know when a dude is a dog. We know when they ain't that one. But if you got a gentleman, a cousin, a brother, or a father, or somebody in your life that you love and respect and admire, it's important to make sure that they know who you're interested in or who's interested in you. You know what I'm saying? Because there's something about when we lay eyes on somebody or we see how they communicate, see when we listen to them and we see how they respond to what you say and what you do or how they act in certain situations, we recognize that stuff. You know what I mean? And so I just want to encourage y'all, if you have somebody, if you have a man in your life, a friend, a brother, a cousin, a father, like I say, uncle, somebody that you love and respect, make sure they know who's interested in you and who you're interested in so they can lay eyes on them, listen to them and see what's happening. You know what I mean? Because we know, we can tell, you know what I'm saying? Like if somebody is good for you, so they can be good to you, you know? Right. So anyway, I do want to say that. I just wanted to say that.
No, that's a great point. Yeah. And I'm glad that you just speak on that because we have some sisters that we love in the comments. And we've had some of our, you know, single friends that we've looked at in that way and looked out for and been able to like kind of intercede in that way because people who love you can tell the intentions of someone else. We're not saying that someone that you meet is interested in you is going to love you right off top. Yeah. But there's something that's there that cannot be manufactured. Yeah. That people who love you just kind of have a sense for and can pick up on. Yeah. You know, especially if there's no ulterior motive on the part of your loved one.
Yeah, that's the key. That. Yeah, that's the key. And I know sometimes it could seem like, oh, whatever, y'all don't want me to be with nobody. You don't want me to be with
y'all don't like nobody. Ain't nobody good enough. There's you know, there's somebody suitable. They'll never think that anybody is good enough for you. For you, precious, sweet love. Right? Because you're precious to them. Yeah. But there is someone suitable. And so anyway, I don't have to say nothing else.
No, that's good because even, you know, I wouldn't say you kind of checked me on it, but I guess mentally or even, you know, what you know, I forget how you say it, but indirectly. Yeah. You know, I don't know when it was, but I had said something to my daughter, like, you know, nobody's ever going to be good enough for you or something like that, you know. And I don't know, it was something you looked at me or you did something and I was like, you know, you're right. Let me not do, you know, go there in that way because I don't want to make it seem like, you know, make it harder, you know.
Oh, a nice man.
Right, you know.
And but we want to give her that princess mentality. Too, like she is valuable to us, but creating that princess mentality and this sense of entitlement, you get women who act like they're better than everybody else. And we want our girls to know you're not better than anyone else, but you're just as good as anyone else. And we want you to have high standards for treatment and care and respect. And that is at bare minimum. That is the minimum. That's not even up here.
Preparing them to be queens, not princesses. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and every queen needs a king. And so we want them to recognize that and we want them to be recognized appropriately, but not have this entitlement, like this diva mentality that, you know, doesn't call them to have good character. We want them to have great character too.
That's so much.
You know, because somebody has raised a decent son and there are decent young men out there. And one of them is going to find our daughters someday. And so we do believe God for that. So anyway, we're just putting out what we expect to receive.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So let's look at some of these comments real quick. Yeah. This is Latasha Crawford. So
that's sweet.
Yeah. Yo, you want to read it? You want to
read it?
Okay.
It's not a fun time to be in the dating world. Social media has completely changed human interaction and organic relationships. God help us all.
That's crazy, right?
She's not kidding though. Right. And you can, Latasha, sometimes I see the comment section and I'm like, I'm appalled at the audacity, the boldness, and sometimes the outright ratchetness and meanness of some of the things that people are willing to say. Like, and I know people talk a good game in those comments, but there's things I hear that I know doggone well you would never say directly to somebody's face. And people do it on social media because they can hide behind an avatar. And the other part of that is that, you know, these people have influence, you know, sometimes subconsciously, you don't even realize that you're being influenced by these ideas. And I think about women who were hearing other women it feels like they're messing it up for you and for us. And then I see the younger women that we serve on a regular basis, right? Young women who are growing up in Christ. We don't want them to feel like that's an appropriate response or action, right? And they're being influenced even in the smallest ways. And we're like, y'all got to filter that out, because there's a right and a wrong way to do everything. And we're not even just talking about the situation, the story with, Cheesecake Factory and all that. We're saying in general, like social media has done that. And so I think it literally takes one person at a time. Like sometimes I'm in comment sections and I will comment on somebody's stuff and like, that was really mean. You did not have to say. I will go I will reply. So, because people will say mean things like he thought he ate. And I'm like, this young man has special needs and he's going to prom and he has on a suit. Leave him alone if you don't have something nice to say. Like, this was recent, y'all.
Crazy.
And I absolutely will. And they can say whatever they want to me. I'm like, look, God is in these comments too. So say what you want. My feelings won't be hurt. But you're mean and you need to know. It's your meaty pants and God ain't pleased. You're meaty pants and God ain't pleased. Like, why are you just talking bad to somebody you don't even know? This person did nothing trying to live their life.
That stuff impacts people.
It does.
I love it.
Don't know how to be humans.
Listen,
it's some more good ones up here too.
Let me see. Let me make sure. Look at this one right here. What's this saying?
Yes, I think Miss Kim put that. I couldn't believe some of the places that were listed. That's when you talk about likes and dislikes up front. Absolutely. Hands down.
For sure.
Hands down. A little conversation. But you know what? See what you said? It sounds too much like right. This is a mature conversation. When I posted this on Facebook, I said, we're doing a roll call. Where are the grown folks at? Where are the mature people at that understand that this is just foundation right here? Have a conversation.
That's real.
Because it doesn't matter what your age is. This is about maturity, relationshiping, whether you're dating or married. This is about maturity.
That's good. That's good.
Meanwhile, Sierra loves Waffle House, and Russell Wilson knew this. For her birthday, he rented out a complete Waffle House. It's the simple things and understanding what your partner likes. Bingo.
That's real.
Right there.
Having those conversations.
And you can hate it, but if she love it, he said, I like it.
Yeah.
I'm willing to rent it out. And you're going to have some cooks back there smoking a cigarette.
Oh, Lord.
Making you whatever type of grand slam breakfast you want. For your birthday.
It's going to be good.
And it's gonna be good.
Yeah, don't let nobody speak for you and tell you.
That's why, ladies, does this list speak for all of us? Because for me, it's a hard no. That list did not represent me as a woman at all.
That's real. That's real.
Just the mindset.
Yeah, just for those of y'all in San Antonio, y'all go holler at Golden Walk if you want some Chinese food.
In San Antonio. Shout out to San Antonio. Thank you, Ms. Kim.
Yeah. Look, so let's check this out.
Okay.
I think this was Tamara right here.
Okay. I think dates when you can give each other undivided attention are the best. I agree on the place the date takes place. I agree, not the place the date takes place. Am I reading that right?
When you give each other undivided attention, that's best.
Yes. No, I agree with that, because you're really getting to know somebody, and it's whether it's a first date or a 20-year date.
Right. Yeah.
Right. Because even now, when we go out today, we've been dating for 24 years. We still know that when we go out on a date, like, we need to put our cell phones down.
Yeah.
We still want to give each other undivided attention. When we first started dating, that wouldn't have even been a thought.
Yeah.
That's all we would have done.
For sure.
Is to give each other undivided attention. Right.
Yeah. And you wanna be intentional about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially like I said at the beginning. I mean, even throughout, but the more you get to know each other, like, now let's go to this game, let's go to this.
Right.
Whatever, you already understand up front it's gonna be noisy around here. So we're gonna be in tune and watch this hockey game, whatever we're doing.
Right.
And we'll talk after or whatever.
Sit in the car and front of the house. Y'all remember some of them days, don't play.
Right. So much truth to this. The old way of courtship is non-existent. That's true.
And I'm so sorry. Yes, it looks
like it does. Like, you should really get to know people and not have a whole bunch of people in your stable. I think that's important. Like, yes. Especially I know, and I can't go all the way in on that because of course, we've been locked in for a while, but thinking about that, and even some of my friends and some of the young men that I know that
plenty of friends.
Yeah, some of the young men that I know that talk about this. When it comes to courting, there's one young man, he said, he courts, like he's not into dating. He's like, I will court a young lady and we will come to an agreement that we are going to be exclusive. You know what I mean? And we are working toward getting to know each other for the purposes of being together long term.
Right.
That would potentially lead to, engagement, marriage, or life together. You know what I mean? And so when you think like that, now you're thinking long term, and now the decisions that you make, the conversations that you have, I don't know, it just elevates.
I think they elevate.
Yeah.
I think you were going there with that, but
for sure
it does. I think that's true.
Yeah. Did you have anything that you want to say?
No.
Okay.
We'll say.
Let's check this out.
For me, it's the vibe. I can have a good time at the Waffle House. The standards these women have put out there, you wonder why they are single. And also, how can you request a man to provide those things when you don't have anything to bring to the table but sexual pleasure?
Man,
that's a thing too. Yeah. It's, a lot of times when we don't have the appropriate conversations that we need to have before dating, I think it's imbalanced. The expectations become very imbalanced.
Yeah.
And also, do women really want the reputation of only bringing that, their bodies and sexuality to the table? Because if that's what you want, just say that.
Man.
Don't have high expectations then.
Right.
Don't say that we're doing this in exchange. And there are some women that don't mind, and probably even some men who don't mind this level of exchange. But that needs to be the understanding in the conversation, because we don't promote or condone that one bit. It's not healthy mentally, intellectually, emotionally, or spiritually.
Yeah.
But setting expectations without conversations that can't be agreed upon and are meaningful and thoughtful anyway. I mean, what's the point of us even dating if we're not trying to get to know each other and become friends, essentially?
Right. Yeah.
So if it's all about an exchange, like, we shouldn't even have to, go there as far as like, what do you bring? Well, what do you bring?
Yeah.
It's like, let's bring ourselves. Let's bring our authentic, organic selves, and show up and be kind and try to make a friend. Why is it anything else than that?
Yeah, that's so good.
Right? Like, right off top, why is it more than that? Like, I don't know you.
Man, yeah, that's sheesh.
I'm just saying.
Yeah. But that's what these lists did.
It created polarization between men and women.
That's good. That's
and
good,
you know what? And that leads us to the other list.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, let's look into that. This is what Tamara was saying too. It doesn't matter where the date takes place.
No, I 100%
agree. For sure. Yeah.
Whatever we agree on.
Yeah. So the ladies had this list of places where they would not go.
Yep.
On a first date, and then the men, I guess came together.
To retaliate.
And put this list. You want to go there, or
I'm sorry?
You want to go to that list now? You said.
Well, yeah. With the time we have, I think it's easy to jump into, because I think
I got some brothers here that are commenting too, so that's good.
Yes.
We got Ricky on here.
Brother, so we want to hear about it.
Hold on, Rick.
It was very polarizing.
That's true.
Because it did divided us, and it almost was like men against women. And the truth is, not all men feel the way the men who generated, or man, because we don't know that it wasn't just one person that just had time, right? So that list and that mindset does not represent all gentlemen,
right?
Just like the one created by the women or the individual for women does not represent all women. And so can we put that to rest? Like, can the men and women, can the grown folks on here tonight kind of make sure that we are the ambassadors for spreading that as new language, because those don't represent all of us. That is a small population. And I bet you, I would not be surprised if one woman and one man, or one man created both. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And just had time, and they just put it out there, and now all of a sudden it's turning the world upside down. Yeah. And we need to be the mature, grown adults to help bring back some real life humanity and perspective back to the topic of relationshiping, whatever that looks like.
That's good. That's good.
What your man talking about?
Ricky.
Let's
Ricky
talk
Wise,
about it.
Man, appreciate you. So he said, as a man, when I consider a woman to be someone I desire to get to know better, on a first date, for me, it's less about the place and more about the person and the quality time spent together. However, I feel I would want to know enough about her before taking the next step for a first date. What her likes, dislikes, wants, needs, pet peeves, triggers, etc. And as a Christian, accountability in courtship and dating is necessary. Come on now. My list would be more focused on character, principles, beliefs, and then I have the rest here that I'm looking at too.
He's in the bag with us.
Beliefs, how you communicate, and on a first date, the question is, should the place be mutually agreed upon since it's early in the dating or courting phase? So
it could.
That's a good question, right?
Yeah.
But you do want to have a conversation, at least have talked enough,
right,
to get to know her or him.
And here's why.
Before you know.
Yes, because I think when people say trigger, for those of you reading the comments and you're like, two people said trigger, a man said the word trigger, a woman said trigger. What could be triggering? Well, here's the thing, and this is just a perspective I just got.
Gotcha, yeah.
Just thinking about it. What if my relationship before Keedren was because my favorite food didn't change, right? Chinese food. And he knew that I liked Chinese food, but what if I had dated someone before and they broke up with me at the Chinese restaurant? What if it was on my birthday? What if they cheated on me and they went to our favorite Chinese restaurant? That's information that could be important for my new person, my new friend to know, if that would potentially be a trigger.
Right.
But a mature person would also realize, even if we did pull up to a Chinese restaurant, I need to manage my emotions and understand that I did not give this new friend this information. They had no way of knowing this. And my trigger is a part of my past. So let me put the safety on this thing and not unload on this man.
That's good, yeah.
And make him have to fix pain that he did not cause on this date.
Yeah.
First or final. Right?
Yeah.
So those things are important. So I'm glad we had a man and a woman mention the triggers. So we have all different kinds of perspectives chiming in tonight. And I appreciate this because we said we wanted to have a mature conversation. We were not going to go back and forth and be petty about these lists because I believe there's enough pettiness that came with it.
There's enough.
Agreed?
There's enough pettiness. Lord have mercy.
I mean, petulant.
Petulant. Yeah, Miss Kim.
Read this one.
A man that is intentional knows the difference in a woman just wanting a meal or wanting to build a solid foundation. For real, for real.
Absolutely.
And I think this young man, even if we think about that video, to your point, after a while, he started realizing like, no, I'm about to take you home. I was patient enough through this whole thing. And he said it. I have standards too. I have expectations too.
I didn't expect
right. I didn't expect to come in your house. I don't know you as a first date. I get that. Right. You know what I mean? Because she tried to play that too. Like,
but
I don't know you.
I didn't expect you to make me wait an hour in my vehicle either with my car running.
Right.
Like, and he did say that. You're right.
Yeah.
And you know what? Not only
so he did know the difference, right? No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, but he did because he mentioned it, and that's the detail that I did forget until you said it just now. He said, "I understand. You were running late, and I said I would wait or whatever. Oh, I chose to wait on you." And then she went to, well, I don't know you like that. And, I don't want you in my place. And he said, I respect that. You don't know me. And I didn't need to come inside, but I still waited. I did actually still wait an hour. Yeah. So whether I waited an hour in your place or not, I still waited for you. And as the conversation continued and, it was all this recording and boasting and just continued rudeness, right? Just an uneven exchange of rudeness. He still was like, look, I have standards too.
Right.
I expected, and she said, what did you expect? She said, I expected to take a nice young lady out on a nice date and treat her honorably and respectfully and kindly and like a gentleman. But I also have standards too. I expected to be treated, you know, properly and with dignity and with respect and kindness as well.
Yeah.
I think that was fair to say.
Definitely fair.
And I think I appreciate that representation for men, because sometimes when some men are out here being abrasive and it's not representative of all men,
mm-hmm.
there are men who really feel that way. Like, I'm not no simp or nothing like that, but I should be able to be treated kindly and with respect.
Yeah.
And just with good manners.
Right.
You know?
Believe you me, that's what
you know, want. Like, that doesn't make me weak as a man
right.
for wanting to be treated with dignity as well.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
We're new friends.
Right.
Like, I mean, just at the bare minimum.
For sure.
Like, respect is the minimum.
Please.
I didn't say go over and above. I don't have to go in your house, but you gonna record me and have me out here in these streets?
Oh man, for real. Yeah, she really did wave every red flag.
I'm taking you back to the house. That man said, you know what?
Like, oh, you ain't gonna change your mind? No.
And she was like, no, I'm starting to understand that we can't compromise. He was like, I feel like I
wanna be good now. No, it's too late.
No, but you know, and we're oh man. Yeah. You know, it's so bad because we don't want to laugh at the situation. It was serious because we believe someone was really embarrassed. Their feelings were hurt. And so we're not taking that lightly.
Yeah.
But we're saying in general, like, it's okay to stand your ground.
Yeah.
Look, I love that he maintained boundaries and verbalized his standards. They go both ways. And
really
he did it respectfully. He didn't call her out, at least that we could hear.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Because we were just talking about how social media has lost its humanity. Well, men and women and women and women and men to men will talk to each other any kind of way in ways that we know is just not kind, it's not honorable, and it's just, and I don't want to say this too much tonight, but this is just not a representation of all people, and we don't want that to get lost in all the silliness.
No, that's real, because it's definitely doesn't make it easy.
No, Lord, it does not.
Lord have mercy. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna shift, because I want to look at this men's list real quick.
Hop on it,
because that was crazy. That was crazy too. So let me just check this out. Right. So if you can see that, you know, cool. But I'll go through some of it. But this was a group where it says a group of men made a list of women that you shouldn't take on a date. Right. So. Right. They went from the women making a list of where you're not going to take me on a first date to the men saying, you know, this is the type of women you shouldn't take on a date.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of that, you know, when they did the no scrubs and then they
came back with no pigeons.
Sporty Thieves or whatever that group was with no pigeons. Yeah. Anyway, so talking about this whole list as far as single mothers and women with tattoos and women that dress like this, whatever this is in public, you know. And this whole list, women with an IG page, Lord have mercy, you know, when you talk about the pettiness, you know what I'm saying?
Pettiness.
Look, who said that? Somebody said I got 8 strikes on that list.
Look, I told Natasha, I said, girl, same. Look, I got drugged to this list.
Man, I'm like, this is crazy. And here's the thing, though, I really feel like there's some young ladies that could potentially be counting themselves out, just like some young men. Or you don't have to be young men, some men and women that are counting themselves out based on this list, because
they're still really developing and they don't know.
And you're trying to figure it out. People are still trying to say, like, what is going on? What's wrong with me? Maybe this was wrong with me. Maybe that's why. This is not a list to build your life around.
Please.
You know what I mean? Like, it's
like and share this video. Tag somebody in this video. If you're on YouTube, share, copy the link, text it to somebody. Because this
is starting to grieve me.
Look, come on, think.
As I'm looking,
y'all stay with us. We're gonna hang in there.
As I'm looking at this, and maybe I'm just passionate as a man, but when I look at this, I'm like, this is crazy.
This is a father's heart right here.
Like, when I think of
women,
you know, we locked in, like we good to go forever. You know what I'm saying? But I think about my daughters, I think about my sisters that are on here, my cousins, like my family, like. This, go ahead. What did you say? You said
no. This one right here. So there was one, number 12. Women with weak or absentee fathers.
Oh man, that
like
This is so.
No, like this is real for some women. I have an absentee father.
This is crazy.
I'm healed and I am whole by the grace of God. But imagine, first of all, imagine not being mature, not being developed in that part of my emotions and my mind and my life and my spiritual walk with Christ.
Right,
just imagine that's being something that's triggering. And for what? Because one woman posted one video. Here comes the clapback.
Yeah.
Like, come on. There are young people out here being influenced and they're watching these channels. They're sharing it. They're trying to make sense of it. And come on.
Man,
come on.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're not, but like, come on, y'all feel us on this. Y'all are watching tonight because y'all feel us on this.
Yeah, this is not a list. These are not lists to build your life off of. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Someone shared, Tasha said it's gonna be a miracle to remarry based on this list, right? If you base it on this list, right? This is crazy. And that's what I said. This is
sense.
I rebuke these lists, right?
We rebuke these lists. Handsome.
Lord have mercy. Right. But anyway, like this is crazy. Women who live alone, you know, they prefer somebody to have roommates or whatnot, you know.
Like,
women with party boys.
Party boys.
Like women with lists. How ironic is this?
Just being stupid there.
Right. Like this is so petty. That's what I'm saying. It's write your list, make it plain if that's what you are praying for, if that's what you're believing for.
Right.
But don't make it petty. You know what I mean?
And character on
character
that list.
traits are going to always, you know, that's what you want to build your relationships on, because beauty fades, the muscles, the pectorials, whatever that is, all those things will not always stay the same, right? They will age. Life happens.
Look, Tamara, she said a roommate.
A roommate. You know what I'm saying? Like this is petty, you know, but you know, character is key. Like if I'm going to make a list, it's going to be based on character. But like I shared our last one of our last episodes, for me, I didn't have a list of things that I wanted from a woman. You know what I'm saying? I had a to-be list myself, like what kind of man I wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? Like not what I'm looking for in a woman, or what kind of woman I'm not going to date. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to, like, who am I going to be as a man? What do I want to be for this woman that God is going to give me eyes to find, eyes to see? You know what I mean? And so even right now, you know, for any single ladies that are even watching this, I just pray that God will give the man of your dreams the eyes to see you. If you desire to be married, if you desire to be in a relationship, I just pray right now that God will give the man that he has for you the eyes to see you, no matter what you look like, you know, no matter what is on this, you know what I'm saying, list, that God will give them the eyes to see him,
that you will see him the way God sees him.
Right. And not hold it. Because sometimes I know, you know, and I won't, you know, we'll have Symphony on here soon, but our daughter Symphony. But it's also important to not, and I'm not saying she does this, but I think there is a temptation for it to happen for young ladies or even single women. You know, you could, you know, I'll just say this.
We know we're talking about our daughter.
I have somebody that I'm potentially interested in, but I'm thinking about what other people are going to think about this person. You know, for men and women. You know what I'm saying? Like, how are they going to perceive this person? Because, you know, maybe they got this. I mean, they got this, you know, physical feature that may not be attractive, because I know my friend is always talking about this certain thing, and now I don't want
siblings play too much,
all that stuff.
You know, all those kinds of things, and that is normal as long as you have the maturity in your mind to really manage that. Because we tell our kids, we want somebody for you that really loves you. We want somebody for you that is for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everything else will come with it, because people think that if they trade, people think that sometimes they're trading having expectations for someone who's just, in their estimation, trash. You think if I go for character, I'm not gonna like the way they look. Like, God is not out here just trying to set you up. Your destiny partner is better than that.
Yeah, they can still be fine. They can still look good.
They can still look good to you. And even if they don't fit the type that you've had before, that's a red flag too, because guess what? That type didn't make it either.
Yeah. And sometimes the attractive part is character. Like the character, more times than not, is what's going to attract you to someone. You know what I mean? Because maybe they have, maybe their sense of humor. You know what I mean? And that's what you feel like. That's why, you say, man, I'm feeling this person.
They're super nice.
Yeah, but that's one of those things where, like, man, I'm feeling this person.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I'm seeing them. Like, it's like, no, I feel them, like, because of how they make me feel. You know what I mean? And then everything else kind of comes with that, But I was saying that, when you were saying it makes, we're praying for, for the ladies also to have eyes to see as well, because sometimes we can be jaded by other people's opinions of our taste or what we're entertaining or,
The truth is, I think you're the cutest person that ever liked me back. No, that ever liked me back. Because I had, I liked other boys and other boys liked me, but nobody else thought they were attractive. And I didn't think that they were physically attractive, but I liked them because they were nice to me. And a couple of times I actually got cheated on by dudes that I didn't even find physically attractive. They were just nice to me. And I was like, wait, what? And so that happens too. It's not a guarantee. Like, people are people. It had nothing to do with looks. It was about character at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And so when he actually liked me, I was like, for real?
Yeah. So.
And then he was nice and he loved Jesus. I was like, wait a minute. Well, this is why. This is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
But that was my real experience. Like, I didn't date any lookers. I had no fear that anyone was going to try to take my boyfriend or sneak around with my boyfriend. I didn't like anybody that anybody else liked. And it was just the truth. It was just the truth.
Yeah.
I even got turned down in middle school and high school by boys that nobody liked. And I'm thinking, well, dang, like I'm not even an option. So it just goes to show, like, you're supposed to be with who you're supposed to be with. And a lot of that stuff is superficial. So I decided that I was going for character. I wanted somebody who would treat me the way I treated them.
Yeah.
And I've always been I felt like I knew that I wanted to be a wife. I didn't know that I wanted to be a mom, but I knew that I wanted to be a good wife because I thought my mom was an excellent wife and I wanted to be like my mom. Like, even up in high school, I wanted to be like my mom, even with failed marriages, but I understood that when when those marriages dissolved, I just felt like, dang, that man, she didn't find her one and she was so good to them. Yeah. So I still always want to be a good wife.
Yeah. And you are, you're an outstanding wife.
Thank God for you. Thank you, sweet.
Yeah. And I know there's been a thread of us saying character, because that's for real. You know what I mean? And you said something, you had some boys to be nice to you at first, and then they did some disrespectful things, being,
I was not touchy-feely like that either. And sometimes that played a role because when they cheated, like they cheated.
But that's a character, but that's still a character thing that I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
Because somebody can seem nice at first. You know what I'm saying? Or, you have some nice traits about you.
Yeah.
But when I think of character, you think of things like loyalty, you think of faith, you think of, those are some characteristics that
just kindness
that you hold on to, like that your life is built on. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone's loyal because of how they deal with their friends, that how they, how they talk about the people that they are close to, how the relationships that they have, how they treat their parents or siblings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Those kind of things you watch and you listen and you learn when it comes to that. You know
how
what I mean?
They talk about people and things,
right?
How they treat strangers. There's just so many things. We don't even have time to get into all of it.
Yeah.
But these lists definitely launched an attack. Man. It definitely drew some dividing lines. And what we're proposing to the grown folks on here is that you reestablish your authority, because I guarantee that these were generated by a very small population. Y'all, I'm telling you, let nothing surprise you. Y'all already know what I'm saying.
Right.
you would not be surprised, and I would not be surprised to find out that all of these were done by one or two people. Because once they started trending, right, that made it easy. You could get views and go viral, and people were sharing and posting and commenting. I mean, it worked.
Yeah.
It worked. And so, there were tons of other more important things happening. When that situation dropped, there are more pressing things occurring right now, and not just the world, but in our nation, in our state, in our regions that are more important, that some of us, not all, because I don't want to overgeneralize, have no clue that that's going on. And this could have been a distraction. And so our goal tonight was to come back together with some folks and just say, let's just stabilize what has been happening here. Let's just stabilize this situation with a group. And y'all have helped us to do that. We didn't do it by ourselves.
For sure. Yeah.
So we got some more comments. Did you want to check some out?
Yeah. Let's look at this.
What about this one here?
What's this one? Go ahead, click it.
All right. Becoming what we are wanting to attract, the woman or man of God, walking in his spirit and wholly depending and trusting in him to place me with who he has got or who he has for us and where he wants us to be.
That's good. That's Miss Diane.
That's good right there.
That's
yes.
Good. That's good. That's real.
Yes.
I love that. And then that's Latasha right there that commented on.
Okay.
Yeah.
She says, say that because people try to make you feel like you have to settle and lower your standards in the looks departments just because we are single. They be the main ones married to what they like to see. No, it's absolutely true.
Yeah.
And we know that, look, we're not going to front and act like being attracted is not important.
Right.
That is definitely key. This is for the people who think that's the only thing it's about. And, they'll grow up one of these days and realize you want character too.
Right. That will last.
Character is what will last. Yes.
Yep. This is Kim.
I'm relationship building intentionally, and I have a conversation of 3 F's: faith, family, and finances. The conversation has to be had because joining two people with different upbringings and backgrounds are challenging.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's even more challenging depending on what season we are in our lives, where we are in our careers, our experiences, and it's hard without conversation, so we think you're doing everything right. Those conversations need to be had.
Yeah. I mean, when you want to be in a mature relationship, you have to have mature conversation. When you want to be in a real relationship, you got to have real conversations.
Yes.
And it might not start off off top like that, but that's where it's going. That's where that's where we're going to end up because I need to understand where we're at as we're building together, or we're trying to see how we fit. And even in our relationship, as we evolve, it's still important for us to have conversations. Because I remember I know even in seasons of our lives, faith has been conversation. We've had to continue to talk about that as we've grown in our faith, and having conversations about how we've grown or how we need to grow. And sometimes that has, led us to transition in certain seasons of our lives, so that we can continue to grow, so that our family can continue to grow. When it comes to finances, we weren't always where we are financially right now. So we have to have these conversations as we evolve, even in those ways as well. Our family is growing, our family is changing.
Yes.
And so those things are important. Those are lifetime conversations that if you can't talk about those even at the beginning on a foundational level, that right there should, give you some pause to think, okay, well, what is this going to look like in the future as we start our life together?
That's right.
Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
It makes 100% sense, because there was also a season. I'm sorry, I'm responding to Miss Diane. Miss Diane, don't worry about those typos. We live, friend. We just talking like family on here. Don't even worry about it.
For sure.
No, I think it makes a lot of sense because different seasons do call for that, and the shifts in seasons calls for that. We didn't have the same conversations about finances.
Yeah.
When we were younger, we both was like, yeah, we want to go to college. And of course, we want to make money. We want to have careers and all that stuff. Finance became a deeper conversation. It was like, okay, so now we're paying bills. Okay, now we need to have a savings. Or what about this checking account? What are we doing here? What does our credit look like? Now we're monitoring our credit scores. Now investments and property owner, all of that different stuff. So that stuff shifts over time. So yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And we have to move at the pace of those shifts. And that's why even with your expectations, there's no way, the things that you expect at 40 are the things that you expect when you're 18, 21, 25, when it comes to material type things, and career things and goals and finances. But there is an evolution of those kinds of things. And we just see a lot of, like, we were watching one video and we shouldn't have watched it because I was aggravated. But it was a bunch of, very young people after a nightclub situation. And like, how much money does, a man need to drop on you on a first date? And this young woman, dressed in about $5 worth of clothes, said 5 bands. And I was like, does she know that means $5,000? Does she even know what that means? And then I ran to the comments and someone was asking the same exact question. They were like, I don't think Tink Tink knows what that means, but they've heard the language. Another lady was like, at least $2,000. Baby, where are you eating at? Where are you eating at?
Right.
Like, y'all are standing in the middle of the hood at a nightclub at 11:27 at night. Where are you eating at that costs $2,000?
That's crazy. Yeah.
And it just speaks to the mentality. Like, where do y'all get this stuff from?
Yeah.
And that's why those of us who are a little bit more mature and have a little bit more experience, we have to lean in and help young men and young women. Yeah. We need to help them.
That's real.
Because they're doing the best that they can and they're repeating what they've heard, and they just want to be on the right side of these conversations. But a lot of times they don't even mean any harm.
Yeah.
They just really don't get it.
That's real. Latasha, she put a comment earlier. This reminded me of that. There's some people are just buying into the image of the good life. They don't care about the person nor their purpose. It's more of a transactional relationship instead of a real love-based connection. It's real fine, hard, deep work. So they go for the easy route. That's it. Put your cash up.
Put your cash app up.
That's
I don't even have the room to run around this office now, but that is real.
Yeah, that's real. That's real. Yeah.
Perfect timing. I'm glad you noticed that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Man, and so that's why it's important to for us, man. We've been talking about building.
Like what you feeling?
Well, I'm just saying the last few weeks we've been talking about building,
meaningful
relationships, and so even if you're not dating, what is your friend's life? What does your friend life look like? You know what I'm saying? The type of friends that you're connected to, your faith community, people that you're connected to that are helping you, or y'all are building each other up and encouraging each other. And what does that look like? Because it all goes hand in hand when it comes to, our life. We're not meant to live this life alone. But having meaningful relationships where you definitely want to have friends with good character as well. You know what I mean? You want to
every relationship. I want to on that.
If at all possible, I want to work for a place that has integrity and has a good reputation. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so it all goes and flows together. And when you have those type of relationships and people that you're connected to, they can help be a lens in other aspects of your life as well. You know what I mean?
Yes,
that you can truly lean on and say, no, I trust your insight. I trust even your opinion. I might not always agree, but I know that you've always been real with me, and so you want to have those type of relationships in your life. A faith-based community is important, to have people that's going to be able to build you up in times where you may feel like you don't have it left. You might not have it. left in you right now, but somebody that will pray for you and help build you up, and hold you up in times of need. That's important, because this life is crazy, and we don't want to lean on social media to tell us who we should date or where we should go, where we shouldn't go. And now we're tossed by every wind of doctrine.
Faceless,
you know what I'm saying?
Faceless and silent, mysterious influencers. Right? Because we also don't, we realize that you're watching us on social media, but you understand what we're saying.
For sure.
We don't know. I mean, even the images that were posted, people stuck up images of people to stick by these lists. And it was all, again, one of those things like just very petty. So no, we don't want to get all of our life advice from these things. Now, you want to know how to make a meatloaf in 30 seconds.
Come on now.
they got some real
meatloaf.
Show you how to make a meatloaf.
You made a good old meatloaf the other day. That was delicious.
I didn't get it off TikTok. But you know what? I'm not too proud to go look for a recipe to remind myself that social media has its place. We said lists have their place too. We love a good grocery list. We're making our Thanksgiving dinner list right now. We've been thinking about it all October. We're gearing up. Lists have their place, but we wanted to just be a part of the conversation that helps give it some proper perspective. And we definitely appreciate the maturity in here. Look, we didn't have any trolls. We didn't have to block nobody. Y'all knew what to do. Y'all understood the assignment. When we did roll call, y'all showed up. And you've been showing up every week. So shout out to those of you who have subscribed on YouTube. Shout out to those of you who have liked this live viewing right now. Thank you for letting Facebook know that this wasn't completely trash. Thank you for those of you who tagged friends. I saw a couple of names go up. Thank you for doing that. That tells us that you valued the content and that you thought it was important enough to share with someone else that you care about. We appreciate that. But until next time, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up and get on out of here.
Let's do that, because I about to. They got too many lists on here.
It's too many. But we get the point.
Yeah, we do. We do. Well, thank y'all so much, and we love y'all.
And we see you next Sunday.
We'll see you next time.
Same time, 7 p.m. Central. YouTube, Facebook, Talking with the Bostons. It's been real, y'all. For sure. Real fun.
Real fun. Have a great week, and we'll see you